G'day and welcome back to Stippy's Workshop. Today we're going to be changing this SRAM force crank, which is an 11-speed crank, to a 12-speed Shimano 105 crank. We're doing this to make it a bit shorter, so bring it down to 165 for the rider. Going to need some grease and Allen keys. First thing we want to do is take the pedals off. There you go. Flick of the wrist. And then second step, whip off the non-drive crank arm. This one uses an 8mm Allen key. Give it a bit of welly. There you go. Nice clonk. Get it off. And then you can remove the drive side crank arm. Next thing, get your gloves on so you're nice and safe to work around the greases. And so what we've got here is a 105R, we've got 7100 versus the SRAM Force 22. So the crank arm's too long on the SRAM Force. There's a few other differences. So the chain line is 1mm further out on the 105 12-speed, and then might find some other problems as well. We're going to give it a try and see how we go. So slap in your new Shimano bottom bracket. And then you want to put a bit of grease on the shaft just so that it goes in nice and smooth. Just like that. And then pull your chain over. Slot it all in. Get the chain on so it's not stuck between the crank and the frame. Best if you don't drop it onto the frame like I did. There you go. Little clonk the rest of the way on. Job done. And then we'll come in with our non-drive crank. Make sure it's all pressed together nicely. And you'll know it's right. There's a little tab. It's kind of hard to see, but if that pushes down, then you're all right. If it doesn't push down, you've done something wrong, or you've got the wrong bottom bracket, or something's gone bad. So make sure you've done that right. And then you just want to ease up the pinch bolt side to side on a Shimano crank. You're torquing with a torque wrench as well later. I think 12 to 14 Newton meters is the spec. But you just want to walk them up. You don't want to do one of them to 14 and have the other one loose. It's no good for the crank. You can damage your crank doing that. And then when you're reusing pedals, just make sure the spindles are nice and clean when you go into the new crank, just to avoid transferring any problems from one crank to the other. So you want to do that on both of them, just to clean all the contaminants off. And you can see all the rubbish that's come off there. So that's not what you want on your new cranks. And then apply a little bit of grease. I'm just using the waterproof stuff, just so that it can be removed again later. And you get a more accurate torque rating as well if you are using a torque wrench on your pedals. And then just walk in the pedal. Gentle, gentle, make sure it's catching a thread nicely. The Shimano crank's fantastic threads, so it's pretty hard to strip them, but by the same token, right hand pedal goes on the right hand side, otherwise you're going to have dramas. And so without adjusting anything, we're seeing the effect of that chain line difference. So it wasn't rubbing on the derailleur before, and now it is, so we're going to have to make some adjustments to the derailleur to optimize this setup that isn't designed to work, because it's designed for a different chain and a different group set. And so basically had it out, done a little bit of test ride. It's not what I call an A compatibility, but it might be good enough for you. Not that I'd recommend it. If you're gonna put a 12-speed crank on, put a 12-speed grip set on. Easy as that.